Alright guys, and welcome back to another Dayz tutorial. So I'm just currently in the editor and I just kind of finished getting some plank spawn piles set around for my server. And I thought, why not show you guys how to do this? So if you're someone that thinks, I don't have enough plank spawn piles around my map and you want more, or you just want to change certain locations, like maybe you got some spawning where you don't want them to spawn, I'm going to kind of show you how to do that. So, first of all, to basically add more, we can go into the editor. Now, you can probably do this with like VPP admin tools or something like that. But I just like using the editor, so I'm going to show you the editor way at least. But if there's another way, then go ahead, do that if you know how to already do it. If not, carry on watching this video and we'll show you the editor. And the editor is usually commonly used anyway. Right, so first of all, what we want to do is, you can see I've already got some down here and I've already tested this. So we're going to show you how to do it. So basically what you can do, in the search box at the top left, if we search for plank, it should come up here at the very bottom, a pile of wooden planks. And basically you can just click and drag, or we can just double click, and essentially you can put it wherever. Now I'm not going to use this one as a spawn position in my server, but we're just going to use it to show you how I've gone about placing this one. And I've also got one there, look, by the barn. So just for demonstration purposes, let's just say we want this there. So we're going to basically click and drag it, or double click and then loose go the mouse button, and we're going to put it there. Now let's just get this in position. I'm not going to go over the controls and show you how to or tell you how to use the editor, so I'm just going to drag this down so it's like on the ground. That will do for now. It's only a demonstration, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but basically get it into position where you want it. And then once you're done, we can just like click off it so we don't have the yellow box and this blue box like highlighted. So now we're not interfering. It is so easily done, where especially if you've got two objects close to each other, you can accidentally click on both and move both when you only want to move the one. But say that's where we want it. All we then need to do is, if we press not space, yeah, it's space bar. Once we get out of the camera mode, push space bar, so we should be able to get the mouse control up, and we just need to export it. Well, we need to export it and we need to save it, and I'll tell you why we need to save it in a second. But first of all, we need to export it. So go File, Export, and export it as an event.xml. So we'll click on that. Now, of course, I've already done this because I already tested it. So we've just got a file here called planks.xml. For you though, you won't have a file, so what you do, this grey bar on the right here, just click and drag it down to the bottom, and you should see at the bottom here where it says file, and there's kind of like an invisible box, or at least for me it's kind of like difficult to see, but there is a box here. We can click in it there, so click starts like there, click there, and we'll just give it a name. So again, you would just give it a name, whatever you want to be called as. Now you don't need to put .xml. It will automatically, because we chose to export it as an XML, it will already put it as an XML file. So just the name will do, and then just export. Now once you've done that, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Once we've done that, we need to basically, in a moment, we'll need to go and get that file. And that saves to like our documents, Dayz, and then the editor folder. But before we do that, before we leave the editor, so I'm just going to cancel this because I've already got it saved there. But for you, you won't already have a saved file, so just give it a name so you've actually got a file saved. Now what we want to do, in case we want to come back and edit this later, in case we need to tweak something, remove something, or add more, like, if I want to come back and add some more plank spawns around the map, I can do so. And to do that, we just need to save it. So if I click save, it's automatically going to save because I've already saved this. I've basically already opened up the saved file. But for you, if you haven't already got a file saved, when you click save, it'll come up where you can actually save it. But if you're already in a file, so because I've already opened this up as a save file, if we click save as, this is the box that will come up. So for your first time, before you save the file, it'll come up with this box. So again, scroll down till we can see this file, and then somewhere, oh, the editor is, I'm not sure what's happened. I think the editor's crashed. If you can still hear me, guys, bear with me. The editor has crashed. Let me just reload it back up, and then we'll continue from where I just left off. Okay, we are back in the editor. Hopefully it doesn't crash. We shouldn't be too much longer. Now, I would say for you guys, make sure you save your work regularly. You can turn auto-save on, but I would at least make sure you save in your work every 5 or 10 minutes. I have heard complaints with the latest Dayz update, so with 1.26, the editor is crashing a lot more than before. So yeah, I would recommend, you save your work regularly so you don't spend a lot of time and then you lose it. Right, anyway, so where was I going, was saying, so file, for you, save, but I'm going to click save as because we're already in a saved file. And scroll down, and in the file box, click in it and give it a name. Now, this is going to save it as a DZE file. Again, like with the export, we don't need to put .dze, we just need to give it a name. So again, you could just, well, I can spell, you could just give it a name, and that's all you need to do. And then you click save. Now, with doing this, like I just previously mentioned, if you want to come back and edit this, all you need to do is file, open, or even open recent, but file, open, and select the file that you want. And you can only open the DZE file. So the export file that we created, the XML version, we can't open that. So this is important, why it's important to save, just to do a normal save. So we get the DZE file and we can reopen that if we need to. And you can just double click on it or click on it and click open. Right, we're going to cancel that because we're still in it. And that's it. Now, what I'm going to quickly do is, because I don't want this, I'm going to get rid of that one because we don't want it. And I'm just going to click the save icon there. Because we've already saved it, I click the save icon there. I don't need to click file save. Right, I'm hoping that makes sense. So I've shown you how you could put one down. I've shown you, explained about the export and saving it. Now we basically need to get the export file. So for that, we need to go back to our desktop and we need to open up our documents folder. So while I'm doing that, I'm just going to quickly close this down, and then we're going to go into our documents and show you the next bit from there. Okay, so we are within our documents, our Dayz and our editor folder. Now, I haven't shown you how to go about finding them. I'm sure it's fairly easy. I'm sure you guys will know, where your documents folder is and how to get it. So once you're in your documents, basically find your Dayz folder, open that up, and then find your editor folder. And then in there you should have the exported file, so the XML, and the saved file, the DZE. And as you can see, we've got them both here. We've got the DZE file and we have got the planks, the exported XML file. Now, as I mentioned, the DZE file is pretty much, if you you can use this to import it on your server. So typically, if you're making objects you're adding custom areas and you're placing down buildings or objects to put into your server, you can use the Dayz editor loader mod and use that to import the DZE objects into your server. But I'm not going to be doing that because the planks is an event. It's already a default event in our server files. We're just going to use the XML to take the positions. But other than that, the DZE file, as I said in the video, is used so when you open up the editor again, we can actually open up the DZE file, because if we didn't save it, we wouldn't be able to open up the XML, and we'd have to go down and place all them plank spawn piles again. We'd have to redo it. But because we saved it, we don't need to. We can open up the DZE in the editor, and all the stuff that we placed will already be there. But anyway, it's the XML that we want. So the exported XML file that we first did. If we open that up, I can take it from here, but if yours is like mine and it opens up, you can see the kind of default application it uses. So for me, it's like the Microsoft Edge. But if you right click, you should be able to open up in some sort of notepad system. So for me, I'm just going to open up Notepad++. It's fine. And we've got the positions that we have placed. So all we need to do, because the actual event is in the default file, you would typically need to just copy that, but we don't need to, because we're not actually creating a new event. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy the positions. So the bits that you can see is highlighted. So I'm going to select them. I'm going to press Control and C, which will copy that. And then we're going to need to put this in to our server. So to do that, I'm just going to go over to my dedicated server. We're going to open up my file explorer. We're going to find my server. So I've already got some quick links here. But essentially, go to your server, go to your MP missions, and go to whatever mission you're using. So for me, it's the new DLC, the new Sakal map. So we're going to open that up. Now, one thing I will mention that I didn't mention before is in the editor, if you are using a map that's not default, so if you're not using Chernarus, you're not using Livonia, and you're not using Sakal, well, Sakal's DLC, but it is kind of a default map. It's a Dayz map. If you're not using any of them three and you're using a modded map, something like Deer Isle, actually I think Deer Isle's been taken off now, but if you get what I mean, if you're using something like Deer Isle and the Mosque, what else is there? I can't think of all the other maps, but you're using some sort of modded map. Do make sure when you open up the editor, or before you open up the editor, that you actually load the modded map in, so as a mod. Now, right, so once we're in our server files, so let's get back on track. We want to go to our DB, no we don't want to go to our DB folder. We want to go to our, the DB folder is where the actual event is in, but we don't need to touch that because that's already set up. Of course, you'll need to go into there and you might want to adjust, you know, how much is spawning, like how many plank spawn piles around the map is spawning, and all that kind of stuff. But to actually add in them plank spawn piles, we just need to go to, where is it? CFG event spawns.xml. So I'm going to right click and I'm just going to, I can simply just click edit and it'll open up in Notepad, but I want to open up in Notepad++. I'll just click OK to that. Okay, so we've got this open up. Now for me, it's near the top here, which is good because all these are kind of, there's no events for these. So there's no positions. If you're using a different map, different mission files, you might have to scroll down a little bit. But essentially what you need to look for is the event name, item planks. And then in here, we've got some default positions. Now, if we take away them ones that I've just highlighted and now just removed, they're the ones that I've placed in editor. So they're the ones that I've already tested. These ones here for me are the default ones already there. Now, if you want to remove some planks, some positions, you can just take one of these and delete it. Now, of course, you're going to need to use the coordinates, get these coordinates and cross-reference them to your map. So maybe open up something like I survive and try and see where these positions are to make sure you're removing the right plank spawns around the map. Alternatively, you could just keep them there. But we're just adding more. I'm going to keep them there, add more. Now, depending on what map you're using, there may actually be more positions than you can see there. But essentially, what you want to do is you can either go to the end, like I do. I go to the end of it or the bottom and paste it. Or you can paste it at the top. But as long as it's within the event name item planks, you'll be good. So for me, I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm just going to press Control and V and it's going to copy all them positions. So I think there's 11, copy the 11 positions that I did in editor into there, like so. And I'm just going to quickly just tidy it up a little bit. You don't need to. I don't normally do this. I'm not normally like so fussed with if it's in a nice neat line, but a lot of people I speak to, they like it in like organized. Right, once we've done that, we're good to go. So we've added in them positions. Now, if you go back into your file, so say you want to add more plank spawn positions, you go back into editor, you open up your DZE file. When you add more, when you export it and open up the exported XML file from your documents folder, like we just done, you'll only need to copy the bottom. So can I quickly show you where are we looking? Hang on. So in this file, so when we go back into your documents Dayz editor and you open up your file, right, just get all these previous ones will already be in your server. So any new ones you add, it's obviously going to include these, but you just need to copy the new ones which will be at the bottom. So say we add another one plank spawn pile to this, I would literally just need to copy the one at the bottom. If you added 5, you just copy the 5 bottom ones. Does that make sense? It goes in order of what you've added. So this first one for me would be the first plank spawn pile that I added onto my server. I thought I'd just quickly mention that. I'm hoping I haven't confused you guys. That should be pretty easy. Right. But anyway, once we've placed these back into, not back into, but once we've added the new positions into our CFG event spawns.xml, we're just going to close up the space there. I don't like the space. There was an issue at one point. I think it was like with update 1.20 or something like that. There was an update with, I think it was with the JSON files. There was an issue. If there were spaces, it wouldn't work. I don't know if that's fixed. I presume it is, but I like to make sure when I'm working with these files, there's no spaces. Right. Once we've done that, you just click on the save icon at the top here, or file, save. And we're just going to click OK to that, and we'll save it. So then that will add in these spawn positions. Now remember, it is an event, so depending how many you choose to spawn in your map via the event file, which was in the DB folder that I mentioned. I think I've only got something like 10, maybe spawning, maximum of 10, might be even 15. But we've clearly got more than 10 or 15 spawn positions here. So obviously all these positions here isn't going to have a plank spawn pile. So when we load into our server, there's going to be quite a few of these that won't actually have a plank spawn. So keep that in mind. So don't load into your server and think, sugar, I haven't got a plank spawn pile at this position that I've set. Don't think because there's not one there, it's not working. Double check all your other positions. It's just probably the fact that you might need to use up some plank spawn positions from a previous position and let the server generate, let the event kick in and generate another plank spawn position, and it should hopefully pick one up at one of the ones that you've created. Now, if you are having issues, like I always say, if something isn't working, feel free to join Discord, create a ticket, or come and speak with me. Usually, I always say to people, create a ticket, but usually a lot of stuff like this, when it comes to possible issues or errors in your server files, I always tell people to come and join the voice chat with me and share your screen, because that way I can actually see if you've got any issues, if you've made a mistake. I can always, via a ticket, I can always tell you kind of what you need to do, but I can't tell, or I can't show you, or I can't even see if you've made a mistake. Or what your mistake is, if that makes sense. But yeah, right, anyway, I've just saved that. I'm going to start my server up, and I'll just to sort of kind of prove that this works. Now, obviously, you've seen these last two. I showed you where these are. So hopefully I'm going to go into my server and kind of one of these positions should hopefully have a plank spawn pile. If not, I'll kind of look around for one of these other 9 that I've created. Just to show you it works, but obviously there's no way of me, well, actually, as I say, there's no way of me proving that these aren't default, but there is, because they are in this file. So I like to prove that these things work, you see. So one of the files that I've created, so 48901, obviously you can't see where that is on the map, and I'm not going to get iSurvive up and start going through that, but on our server we have got that there, 48891, it's the same thing. But yeah, we'll kind of show you it working and you'll see. Right, anyway, so let me quickly load up the server and I'll be right back with you. And as I said, if you do have issues, do make sure you followed along with this video like 100%. And look how I've got things structured here in this file, because this is the only file that we're editing on our server. So make sure your stuff looks like this. You haven't deleted one of these arrows or anything. But if you have got issues and you really can't figure out why it's not working, either two things: one, you got a mistake, come and see me in Discord or whatever, create a ticket; or two, just wait for your server to generate the plank spawn piles. Because if you've already got a server up and running with plank spawn piles and you've already got the maximum out on your map, no more are going to spawn until at least one more has gone off the map. Does that make sense? Alternatively, if it's a fresh server like I'm doing, like one I'm working on, you can just delete your storage folder, which is what I do. Delete your storage folder and restart your server up, and then it will generate a new storage folder, but it will hopefully pick, when it starts spawning the plank spawn piles on your server, it will hopefully pick, you know, at least one or two of the ones that you've created, as well as use some of the default ones. And again, you can also remove, if you want to test that they work, remove the default ones. So in your server files, you've only got the ones that you've got, and that way you'll know that they are working, because it's got to pick one of your positions. And then once you know yours are working, you can add the default ones back in. Right, anyway, enough talking. I've rambled on. Let me load up my server and show you it's actually there. All right. Okay, so we jumped into the server and we've kind of like just teleported over to the area. So let me just get the free camera and move up here. And we can see, let's just put our character there. We can see we do have the one there. Do we have... no. So the one there that hasn't spawned. So we can tell, even though that's kind of a bit on an angle, I didn't actually put it like that. I actually put it more straighter. So I've no idea why it's on that angle. But we can see that it has worked. So yeah, any issues, just obviously, like I said before, join Discord, come and speak with me, create a ticket, whatever. But if you follow the video and look how I add my files, you shouldn't have any problem with this. Nice and simple thing to do. Anyway, until next time, guys, have fun and peace out.